Okay, so this is my new legal argument. So I have absolute presidential immunity right now because I am a president from the future in this world that took over this body that was prematurely abandoned in a basically on a mission to minimize the needless suffering of existence and create the structures to bring forth the ideals that we inevitably lead to regardless. So I'm on a mission to do these things earlier because we created this new technology so we could go back in time, and we are now here to make this whole system work. Okay? So therefore, I am a president and I'm going back, but I am still active because my time is still active. And I am a sitting president of the United States as it stands right now. So, therefore, I have absolute presidential immunity. And for all of my existence within this time frame that I exist, I have absolute presidential immunity. So, therefore, I have immunity during all my actions. So I'm just making that claim right now. That is my claim, and that is my argument. That is the stance. It is the new logic and reasoning. So think about that argument. It's a pretty solid argument to make. If they have absolute presidential immunity, like the 14th Amendment, you know, excludes the president, and like they brought up in the Senate, and they talked about it, and they said that the one guy said, I would ask the senator to look at this, to look at the bill, and he didn't actually say that it does contain the president. He just says I would ask him to look at it. So that's ambiguity. And then the other person says perhaps I was wrong. And so perhaps means possibly but not definitely. And so we have two different, we have total ambiguity up in that exchange there, and then it was never settled. And obviously it wasn't meant to keep it, but then maybe it was. Maybe it was a big huge design thing that they didn't want anyone to know about. A legal loophole they didn't want anyone to know. So maybe, who knows. But that's just the stance. That is the logical stance that we have now, that we deal with. Okay, because that's what we have. And so the president has absolute presidential immunity. But the president was supposed to be working in a system where we can have a militia that has equal military power to the military. And the National Guard is not a militia because the militia will allow anyone into the militia. Any of the people of the country should be allowed into the militia if they want to join. Whereas the National Guard is like the military, where they only want people who fit certain criteria only. No, you should be able to make exceptions for anyone to fill any position, all the different positions in the whole force. So it doesn't make any logical sense to be excluding the people, because all people are allowed. All of them have the right. So basically, under the current system, we should be able to have a militia of 50 different state militias or whatever, and have 50 different controllers of those state militias, and they should be able to have um, they should be able to have nuclear weapons controls, because if they don't have nuclear weapons controls, then then they can't that means that they don't have the top military equipment. Okay, so arms was short for armaments, which meant the top military equipment of the day. To bear arms meant armaments, which is including cannons and everything else. So to be able to match the military might of that military, okay, that's the whole purpose of the militia. That way, if the government, who has total absolute presidential immunity, goes haywire and crazy, then the militia has the military might to counter our military if they decide to be unconstitutional. and not follow what they're supposed to do. So, anyways, that's how that mechanism is supposed to be designed. So we're supposed to have, a system where basically we should have nuclear controls for 50 different commanders statewide for nuclear systems, at least one nuclear missile for each one of the people. It's just a matter of showing that we are following what the Constitution had laid forth to begin with. Arms is short for armaments, which meant the top military equipment of the day, including cannons. And if there was miniguns, they had those too. They actually had semi-automatic weapons as well. They had all those different weapons back in the day. They weren't as common, but they had the technology, and it includes all the top military equipment. So that's just how the term is designed. So you have to deal with this problem, and it's actually solves the problem of absolute presidential immunity, because ultimately you have a militia force that can counter the military might that the president could throw at a target or whatever. And so you have a much better system that is more accurate and just all around better. Anyways, yeah, this is this is some of the information that I have on this channel. You can watch this channel for all sorts of different things. You can go through my playlist and look at all the different playlists of topics that I have and see some of the information on here. Um yeah, anyways, there's all sorts of stuff going on all the time, and we need to stay above the curve. We have to stay above the whole thing and look at everything from an outside view, bird's eye view, the best. But ultimately, yes, we're going to, let's see, it's going to be a big, huge transition period, and we do need to, you know, not be trying to prosecute the ways of the past. We don't prosecute the ways of the past transgressions of the previous rule, just as we don't prosecute towards the future. We don't manipulate the future timelines for 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 what's going to be. We just fix the problems to align with the potentiality of what was, when what was affected by manipulation of different beings, time travelers. So basically we go back and fix the problems that were the problems, and just represent what was meant to be to begin with, the ultimate truth, the end conclusion of all, which is the singularity, which is all encompassing and completely alone. God, aka the Big Bang, singularity is everything. So, God is not a he, God is not a she, God is all. God is everything. God, the more you can encompass, the closer you are to God. So, try to be, as much as possible, be broad. Push yourself back and away. Don't shrink down in concentration in your frontal lobe. Push back, become bigger and broader, and look at things from a much bigger, broader sense of existence. Anyways, I want to keep the video under 10 minutes because otherwise some people won't watch. If you're new to this channel, you might want to subscribe, because this is the ultimate channel. So you should also hit the all notifications button, and maybe watch some of my videos, because otherwise you won't see this channel again. If even if you hit all notifications, if you don't watch it, if you already have too many notifications on. So just go browse through some of my playlists and check things out. Um, that's the information I have for you today. Quite amazing stuff here. So we should have, the humans should have the right to all these things, and militia. Yep. Love you all. Bye.